Just in case you didn't hear the first two dongs. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It is a beautiful day, and it's going to be beautiful all day. So when we get out of church, you can go and enjoy the sunshine. Hello, those in the chapel and those on YouTube. We're especially glad for those who are here for the first time and hope to see you again. I'd like to remind you to silence your phone and any other devices that you may have. And a reminder, which I always forget, is once I leave here, the thing is still silent, and people are going, why didn't you respond to my text? Because I didn't know. But while we're here, it will be silent.
And they all managed to turn their clock back.
Yes! Did you enjoy that extra hour of sleep? Well, I went to bed early, so I enjoyed it. Okay. My name is Reverend Suzie Matranga-Watson, and I am your worship leader. And our own Reverend Robin Zucker will be our minister and speaker today. I want to do a land acknowledgement. Eastrose Fellowship sits on the occupied territory of the Clackamas Chinook people, who were forcefully displaced from this land to the Grand Ronde Reservation in 1855. We acknowledge the sacrifices endured by the ancestors of this land, and that our presence here today is only possible because of the injustices committed against them. We recognize the inherent sovereignty of the Chinook Nation and the Confederate tribes of Grand Ronde, who carry on the traditions, the history, and legacy held by their ancestors from time immemorial to this day. We seek meaningful relationships with these communities that foster repair. Now is our time to greet our neighbors. Please stand and turn and face the clock and welcome the people that are online, and then turn to your neighbors and welcome them. I know you want to say hi to everyone, but after the service, we will have coffee and a potluck, and there will be food for plenty. So if you forgot, oh gosh almighty, I forgot to bring something, we will have plenty of food. So you can talk to people more then. Okay, this is the responsive reading, call to worship. And I will be, what am I saying? I am doing the gold, and you're doing the white. As labor is the common burden of our race, so the effort of some unto shift their share the burden unto the shoulders of others is the great durable curse of the race.
As I would not be a slave, so I would not be a master.
This expresses my idea of democracy. Whatever differs from this, to the extent of the difference, is no democracy.
Our reliance is in our love for liberty. Our defense is in the spirit which prizes liberty as a heritage of all people, in all lands, everywhere.
Destroy this spirit, and we have planted the seeds of despotism at our own doors.
Those who deny freedom to others deserve it not for themselves and cannot long retain it.
Why should there not be a patient confidence in the ultimate justice of the people? Is there any better or equal hope for the world?
Let us have faith that right makes right, and in that faith let us, to the end, dare to do our duty as we understand it.
The chalice lighting words are from Anastasia Bayaush, and it is called Soul Fire. As we light this flame of hope, may our congregation become a kaleidoscope of souls and people. In the presence of this flame, in me and in you and in us, an invitation to sit at the table. May we tend our soul fire through these challenging and trying times to open the hearts and minds of all who enter our doors.
Thank you, Susie. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. This beautiful sunny day after a lot of rain and after our wonderful event last night. It was so much fun. I think you can sense the overall theme of the service today, starting with Abraham Lincoln with a responsive reading that could have been written last week, and following up now with opening words by Alexis de Tocqueville, who was a French philosopher and one of the great observers of early American democracy. And this was written in 1835. America is great because she is good. I sought for the greatness and genius of America in her commodious harbors and her ample rivers, and it was not there. In the fertile fields and boundless prairies, and it was not there. In her rich mines and her vast world commerce, and it was not there. Not until I went into the churches of America and heard her pulpits aflame with righteousness did I understand the secret of her genius and power. America is great because she is good. And if America ever ceases to be good, America will cease to be great. we will rise and sing Woody Guthrie's wonderful song written in 1940. It was actually written in protest to the lyrics to the song, God Bless America. This land is your land. Please rise.
I have a little announcement, and it doesn't have anything to do with, well, it has to do with last night. Somebody won this, it was part of the door prize, and they left it, and I don't remember who did, and it's really pretty, it's crystal. So if you know anybody that got this, I'll be keeping it until they claim it. Well, that's good. I'm glad we found it. Okay. So monthly, we sing a birthday song that celebrates everyone's birthday for the month of, and this will be November. And I think the words will be on the screen. And
let's see who has a birthday in November.
Oh, yay! Happy birthday. Happy birthday. There's 3 people that have a birthday. So the words are on the screen, and it is the tune of the Merry Widow Waltz, which you may know or may not, but many of us that have been at Eastrose for a long time know that we used to sing this song. So those that know this song, help out, and those that are learning, it's easy to catch on. Okay.
Happy birthday, we love you. Happy birthday, and may all your dreams come true. When you blow out the candles, one light stays aglow.
for all ages. And Tara is going to come up and share a story with the children.
Good morning. So today's story has beautiful, colorful pictures and deceptively simple words. It's called You Be You, and it's written and illustrated by Linda Kranz. It follows a little fish named Adri as he swims home through the sea, noticing all the other fish around him. There are all kinds of fish in the sea, just like there are all kinds of people in the world. In RE, we've been talking about our shared UU values, and recently we focused on pluralism. Pluralism means there's room for many individual beliefs, paths, and perspectives within our community. We listen to each other with curiosity and respect. We learn from each other, and we encourage each other. Part of our RE covenant says we don't have to think alike to love alike. That's what this story is about. This is You Be You. Adri bounced, he glided. The expression on his face was pure joy. He had been out all day exploring, and now he was swimming home. As he made his way through the ocean waves, he couldn't help but notice that some fish swim left, some fish swim right. Some fish swim in a circle. Some fish swim in a line. Some fish swim up, some fish swim down. Some fish swim quiet, some fish swim loud. Some fish are colorful, some fish are plain. Some fish look different, some fish look the same. Some fish are big, some fish are tiny. Some fish are smooth, some fish are spiny. Some fish swim high, some fish swim low. Some fish swim together. Some fish swim alone. Some fish are red, some fish are blue. Some fish swim in the sunshine. Some fish swim by the moon. Mama and Papa beamed when Adri arrived. He was excited to tell them what he had discovered in his travels. Mama and Papa listened eagerly as he told them about all of the fish that he saw. "There are so many of us," Adri said. "We all have something special that only we can share." Papa agreed. "We can learn so much from each other," he smiled. "There are millions of fish in the deep blue sea. That's what makes the world so colorful and beautiful." "Life is a grand journey, Adri," Mama said. "You be you." Just like Adri celebrated all the different fish in the sea, we celebrate all the different people in our community. We need each other's different voices and perspectives. And now let's say goodbye to Reverend Robin and the adults and head on back to RE. If the adults along the center aisle will form a bridge, we'll sing the children out.
We hold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go. To nurture the spark of your precious life, we hold you in our love as you grow.
It's been such a stressful time in our country. Sometimes I think we don't even realize we're maybe not breathing. It's so tense, so scary, really. So I'm going to invite you now into some quiet time where we are going to do some intentional breathing. Invite you to close your eyes, put your feet on the floor, then cross your arms. Maybe drop your hands into your lap if that's comfortable, sort of with your palms up. But any position that's comfortable for you, but try to see how open you can make yourself so that you can invite spaciousness into your heart, your spirit, and your body. Start with a big exhale. See if you can lower your shoulders and soften your face, your jaw and your forehead particularly. See what your arms feel like. Do they feel stressed and tensed? How about your torso? Your legs? Begin some rhythmic, intentional breathing. 4 beats in slowly through your nose, and then 5 or 6 beats out slowly through your mouth, creating a rhythm, and imagining spaciousness filling you from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. And we'll just breathe together. As you breathe, I offer this prayer by my colleague Tess Baumberger. Spirit of wisdom, with the advent of an election and citizens to lead us in our communities, towns, and cities, in our counties, state, and heart-torn nation, grant us wisdom and discernment so that we may move forward and expect our leaders to have peaceful hearts, competent minds, and a servant spirit. Spirit of the harvest, help us to winnow the grain from the chaff and to reap the legacy of freedom our founders planted for all of us. Help us to gather together as one people, united and concerned for this country, founded on promising ideals. Spirit of healing, grant that we may bridge the chasms that have opened between us. Help us to understand one another, to listen to the stories of who we are, and to find common ground on which we can move forward together. Blessed be. Come out of your breathing slowly and then end with a big exhale, big release. Our spirit song today is America the Beautiful, with some humanist lyrics that I found that had been created by the American Humanist Association, and you will see the words on the screen. Please remain seated.
Mountains, majesties,
I have two readings. The first one is called God Bless America by Harold Pinter. Here they go again, the Yanks in their armored parade, chanting their ballads of joy as they gallop across the big world, praising America's God. The gutters are clogged with the dead, the ones who couldn't join in, the others refusing to sing, the ones who are losing their voice, the ones who have forgotten the tune. The riders have whips which cut your head rolls onto the sand. Your head is in a pool of dirt. Your head is a stain in the dust. Your eyes have gone out, and your nose sniffs only the pong of the dead. And all the dead air is alive with the smell of America's God. This was written in January 2003. Our second reading is Pity the Nation from Lawrence Ferlinghetti. Pity the nation whose people are sheep and whose shepherds mislead them. Pity the nation whose leaders are liars, whose sages are silenced, and whose bigots haunt the airways. Pity the nation that raises not its voice except to praise conquerors and acclaim the bully as a hero, and aims to rule the world by force and by torture. Pity the nation that knows no other language but its own, and no other culture but its own. Pity the nation whose breath is money and sleeps the sleep of the too well fed. Pity the nation, oh pity the people who allow their rights to be eroded and their freedoms to be washed away. My country, tears of thee, sweet land of liberty.
An atheist for president? When Dwight Eisenhower was first inaugurated in 1953, somebody thought at the last minute that a gigantic inaugural parade, which celebrated everything from motherhood to the success of the GOP, should also celebrate God. A contrivance called God's Float was rushed to completion, but there was considerable embarrassment because of the shortage of appropriate materials. Because the float could not look too Catholic or Protestant or Jewish. Muslim wasn't on anyone's radar screen back then. Buddhism, Hinduism, forget about it. It would have to be given some dignified place of honor in the parade, but where? Finally, it was put first. And at the heart of the display was a rather innocuous and not quite denominational building surrounded with competing mottos. One said, "In God we trust," and the other said, "Freedom of worship." And folks, there lies an especially bizarre chapter in the history of official godliness in American government. In fact, the McCarthy-infected 1950s were a particularly busy time for official godliness. The phrase, "under God," was added to our Pledge of Allegiance. And if you're interested, there is a long history about the pledge you can look up. "In God We Trust" was put on our currency in the 1950s. And Ohio adopted this state motto, later overturned, "With God, all things are possible." Of course, there isn't supposed to be any official godliness in the good old US of A, at least according to our Constitution, a secular document that hasn't been completely ripped to shreds and which is too often misapplied despite its relative clarity. It begins with "we the people," and it contains virtually no mention of God or Christianity whatsoever. In fact, its only references to religion are exclusionary, such as, quote, "No religious test shall ever be required as a qualification to any office or public trust." That's Article 6. And the famed First Amendment, "Congress shall make no law respecting and establishing of religion or promoting or prohibiting the free exercise thereof." Of all the misguided claims about the First Amendment, perhaps none is more dangerous or insipid than those of TV evangelists cum politicos, alt-right bloggers, and MAGA pundits who spew remarks like, "The Constitution guarantees freedom of religion, but not freedom from it." This is completely untrue. This has been the stock phrase of the religious right for decades, recited frequently by the pseudo-faithful bullies like J.D. Vance. Despite what these hypocrites espouse, or the often repeated blunder that our founders did not believe in the separation of church and state, and we will get back to that, we are not, nor have we ever been, nor should we ever strive to be, or allow our country to become a theocracy, a government based on a theological framework. Yes, many of the folks, most of them, who settled America, and when I say settled America, I don't mean we're here for thousands of years. The Europeans who came and settled America, to be clear, in the early 1600s, they were Puritans, escaping what they called the priestcraft, mostly of Catholicism, but any religious hocus pocus that they couldn't actually find in the Bible, and persecution in Europe. They were devout Christians who saw themselves actually as participants in divine history. They literally considered themselves characters in a biblical continuum, wandering in the wilderness before arriving on these shores. America was the promised land, their new Jerusalem, which is how Salem, Massachusetts got its name. They were religious with a capital R. But our founding fathers at work on a burgeoning nation in the late 1700s, they had other ideas. They actually recognized and guaranteed freedom of religion, including the possibility of freedom from religion. This should not be a matter of debate or opinion. If an American can believe freely, then one can choose not to believe at all, to be, dare I say it, an atheist, or more gently, a humanist. Now, Thomas Jefferson certainly realized this. When legislators in Virginia debated his landmark Statute of Religious Freedom in 1786, efforts were made to limit its guarantees of religious liberty to Christians only. In other words, Virginians would be free to profess any religion they wanted as long as it was a Christian denomination. Now, this proposal was ultimately rejected, and Jefferson's bill passed in its original form. Years later, Jefferson rejoiced in the fact that his legislation protected, in his words, these are his words, "the Jew and the Gentile, the Christian and the Mohammedan, the Hindu, spelled Hindoo, he was close, and the infidel of every denomination. Well, with a disclaimer added, of course, as long as they were white and not enslaved. So not exactly a perfect bill. But this foundational version of religious freedom is still a hot and rancid potato in national politics, as we all know. And yes, it's still a bit of a stretch for an avowed atheist to aspire to get past the gates at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, although the numbers are bending favorably towards non-believers, with a surprising 54% of Americans claiming in 2012 that they would vote for a qualified atheist for president. To balance that, a 2016 Pew survey showed 51% would be less likely to elect a candidate who did not believe in God, presumably the personal God of Judeo-Christianity. Herb Silverman, the self-titled Unflappable Atheist and founder of the Secular Coalition of America, experienced this challenge himself. In 1990, he ran for governor of South Carolina, where an old law banned atheists like him from holding public office, an actual law, even though, as I said, our founding documents sort of forbid that. Silverman lost by a landslide, though his candidacy did lead to the repeal of that law by the state Supreme Court. I love this. He tells the story of his run for office in his wryly titled book, Candidate Without a Prayer. Have you ever heard a more clever title for a book by an atheist? Said in the book, he says that to push their approval numbers higher, more atheists need to come out, just as gays and lesbians have. He says, I think prejudices will always be with us, so I'm not optimistic enough to think atheist approval ratings will be near unanimous, but I think the more role models we have, the better things will be. And I couldn't agree more with that. Now, there are some encouraging trends afoot. In the current Congress where we're dealing with so many shenanigans right now, 21 members refused to divulge their religious affiliations, and one did declare themselves a humanist. 3 are Unitarian Universalists. I'm still trying to figure out which 3, even though I've asked AI, I've done everything. There are 32 Jews, 3 Buddhists, 4 Muslims, and 4 Hindus, and 3 checked unaffiliated. A few short years ago, only Arizona Democratic rep, who then became an independent, Kristen Sinema, admitted to being unaffiliated, which the Pew Foundation defines as people who are atheist, agnostic, or describe their religion as nothing in particular. That means only 0.3% of the Congress is unaffiliated, or nones, N-O-N-E-S, compared with 23% of all US adults. Now that group, the people who say they're unaffiliated, is the fastest growing religious group in America. And that 23%, interestingly, also matches the exact percentage of evangelicals and the number of Catholics in the US. It's fascinating to me. Even so, nearly 87% of congressional members claim to be Christian, compared to 71% of US adults. And that's a hefty number and profoundly affects legislation and judicial rulings. But if we go back again to 1958, the heyday of official godliness, we learned from a Gallup poll that 4 out of 5 voters in America would have refused to vote for an avowed atheist for a high elected office under any circumstances. Part of this is because the lowly status of atheism was linked to communism. Communists are atheists. Very simple simplistic equation. Communists are atheists, communists are America's #1 enemy, ergo atheists are always also America's #1 enemy. So much for moral complexity. The religious lives of our presidents has always been a source of innuendo and gossip. And the religions covered the gamut, really. Washington was an Anglican, Cleveland was a Presbyterian, McKinley was a Methodist, Hoover a Quaker, Harding a Baptist, and Kennedy was a Catholic. Our 47th president, the one in there now, actually says he's a big religion guy. That's a quote. No kidding. And a Presbyterian. Does he go to church on Sunday? No. His prosperity gospel ringmaster, Paula White, makes house calls saying he's the chosen one. Insane. Astonishingly, at least to me, 21% agreed that Trump was anointed by God. 80% of evangelicals voted for him in the last election, despite his blatant sins. 72% of evangelicals still approve of him, just a 6% drop since 2016. In the broader population, though, 63% of us say Trump is not too or not at all religious, not Kool-Aid drinkers, presumably. Trump claims the Bible is his second favorite book after his ghost-written The Art of the Deal. This is real stuff, folks. And that his favorite scripture passage, in a quote from an interview he gave, is, I quote, I can hardly say it out loud, the one about the 2 Corinthians. And if you know anything about the New Testament, you know Corinthians was 2 books. There's Corinthians 1 and Corinthians 2. His favorite book is the one about the 2 Corinthians. Sweet Jesus. My God. Yet, as we've witnessed, horrified, for Trump, the Bible is primarily a prop to hold awkwardly aloft, upside down, after tear gassing his own citizens in Lafayette Square. And this weekend, maybe you saw it, he hosted a lavish Great Gatsby-themed party at Mar-a-Lago and unveiled a new marble and gold Lincoln bathroom, while Americans are terrified about how they are going to eat and keep a roof over their head and not die from some medical procedure they might have. Because Trump is essentially a-religious and without any real beliefs or moral center. And I think more Americans are noticing, and they're appalled by him. Of all people, Marjorie Taylor Greene. There is hope. I mean, really, who would have thunk that I would be agreeing with Marjorie Taylor Greene? Now, this has not always been the case in the presidency. Did you know that 4 presidents have been Unitarians? The 2 Adamses, John Adams and John Quincy Adams, Millard Fillmore, and Taft. Now, Jefferson attested privately and in many, many writings and letters to Unitarian leanings, and 4 more actually listed no membership at all. Jefferson said he would come out as a Unitarian, but he didn't think it was politically auspicious. Maybe he was right. The surprise among the circumspect, the ones who said they were unaffiliated, is no less an icon than Abraham Lincoln. The suspicion about Abe's atheism was so provocative that in 1893, a prominent editor published a 360-page report entitled, Abraham Lincoln, Was He a Christian? Given his legacy, does it matter? Adlai Stevenson, a Unitarian presidential candidate in both 1952 and 1956, he labored under similar suspicions. So much so that in 1955, he calmly joined the Presbyterian Church. while retaining some version of his Unitarian membership. Decades later, candidates continue to cloak their atheism and humanism in order to get or stay elected. They also hide other things about themselves. Case in point, Rep. Barney Frank, D. Massachusetts, he spent 16 terms in Congress, but only came out as a gay man in 1987 and waited until after he retired to reveal that he was an atheist in 2013. He explained this by saying that atheists sounded aggressive and repudiating to people. Well, maybe he could have done something to correct that view. As it stands, there is very little balance in the religious thrust to policymaking in Congress. It wasn't until 2007 when Pete Stark, D. California, became the highest-ranking public official to ever admit being an atheist, although he described himself as a Unitarian who doesn't believe in a supreme being. That's a Unitarian. I don't know what he meant by that, but good on you, Pete. I can imagine this confused some people. It even confused me, though it may be helpful to define our terms a little more clearly. An atheist is a person who does not believe in a transcendent deity, a person who is not a theist. Some humanists are atheists and some are not. An agnostic is one who holds that it's impossible to know anything definitive about God and thus remains uncertain. Some UUs are agnostic, some are not. I presume some of you fit into these categories. Some UUs are theists who still believe in a personal God, and that's fine too. I'm not casting a vote for one over the other, but an infidel, the most pejorative term, is one who is an unbeliever, someone who is against God. Fighting words. Unfortunately, in the warped world of the religious right, not only atheists and agnostics and UUs by association are branded as infidels, but so is anyone who doesn't subscribe to a particular brand of conservative, right-wing, dog whistle Christianity in which Jesus is now considered too woke. So much for Jefferson's fortitude in 1786. And we cannot overlook the ignorance of a shockingly high percentage of Americans who get their facts from social media, shock radio, conspiracy sites, and fake news, and sincerely believe that Barack Obama was really a Muslim, even though he was a bona fide member of the United Church of Christ and was exposed to Unitarian Universalist Sunday school as a child. If we look at the propaganda-filled voter guides that the conservative Christian lobby is so skilled at distributing, illegally in some cases, we discover that the litmus test is not whether candidates are Christians, but what kind of Christians they purport to be. Of course, as I've been saying, based on the letter of constitutional law, a candidate's religious leanings shouldn't really be a factor. But religious views have been pushed increasingly center stage by groups like Turning Point USA, who have swamped the debate and set the agenda. They've convinced many red-capped Americans that all candidates must pass a very strict litmus test based on creed rather than what is just or correct or humane or compassionate. It's possible that if we could find some way to keep PACs like Focus on the Family from tangling in the election process, religious leanings could recede back to a less prominent position, and we might not even care. It wouldn't matter whether the candidates ascribe to some mushy religiosity about a matter as seemingly small as the baking of wedding cakes for gay couples. but rather whether their policies and platforms passed an essential litmus test of ethics, principle, and right relationship to humanity and the planet, or more important issues like reproductive justice, marriage equality, economic inequality, Black Lives Matter, global warming, gun control, immigration reform, LGBTQ rights. It appears that the Supreme Court needs to be reminded that ours is a democracy, not a theocracy. We're electing secular political leaders to run a government, not religious leaders to manage a house of worship. And we must keep at it. Ironically, the Anti-Defamation League, one of the largest Jewish organizations in America, has felt the need to assert that while candidates should feel comfortable talking about their faith in public, quote, at some point, an emphasis on religion in a political campaign becomes inappropriate and even unsettling in a religiously diverse society such as ours. And I will add a sidebar here that anti-Semitism is at its highest level ever in our country. Now, Jefferson would agree with the Anti-Defamation League, the ADL. He originally coined the phrase separation between church and state in a carefully crafted letter to the Danbury, Connecticut Baptists in 1802. And alarmingly, that wall is in constant danger of being breached. Consider whether we've really progressed very far from the astute observations of French philosopher Alexis de Tocqueville, whose poem we heard earlier, and who was absolutely fascinated by the interface of American culture, democracy, and religion. During his travels in America, he said, in 1830, upon my arrival here, the religious aspect of the country was the first thing that struck my attention. Religion in America, he continues, takes no direct part in the government or of society, but nevertheless it must be regarded as the foremost of the political institutions of that country, for they hold it indispensable to the maintenance of Republican institutions, and democratic ones too, I might add. Frankly, I would feel more confident about our elected officials at every level if I had the assurance that they believed in a global ethic and in some basic humane principles rather than the rank and file religious rhetoric and ill-defined morality we're being served up on a regular basis. As we've witnessed throughout history, avowed religiosity doesn't guarantee morality. In fact, this is so interesting. According to a recent study, the ethical behavior of people who say religion is essential to their lives is often indistinguishable from the people who say religion is not an important factor in their lives. And these findings run counterintuitive to the assumption and assertion that religious people are more ethical and honorable than non-religious people. Yet even as fewer Americans are attending regular worship services, religious beliefs remain a key rubric for voting and policy making. I have nothing against the whole concept of being religious. I'm a minister. Or the choice to be Christian, that's up to people to decide. In fact, I try to be, and hope you try to be, religious in a you way, and you your vote. My beef is with the assumption that religious has such a very narrow meaning in America, and that we yous are pegged as non-religious people, simply because some of us are atheists, or agnostics, or humanists, because Unitarian Universalism is a religion. However, since our religion is not based on a creed, the litmus test for us is going to look different. We can't just recite some creed and go out to brunch. I guess that if we voted based on our religious perspective, it would be one that captures our beloved 7 principles. I won't speak for you, but I know I'm much more interested in how our leaders actually look, standing transparent in the town square, as opposed to how they want to appear, propped up by spin doctors and vapid religious rhetoric in the media spotlight. I really don't care what gods they believe in, or even if they believe in God. Rather, I want to know that our leaders believe in the creative, positive forces at work in the universe, and that we all have the power to harness them for the good. If we wish to coax more qualified atheists, humanists, agnostics, and liberally religious candidates out into the arena who share this view, we need to learn how to convince the general populace that their values, our values, have universal appeal. In the voting booth, let's remind religious bullies that the original US motto chosen by John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, and Thomas Jefferson is E pluribus unum, of many one, not in God we trust. Furthermore, on the next inauguration day, 2029, which seems so far away, let's reassert the fact that the presidential oath of office, the only oath detailed in the Constitution, does not contain the phrase, "So help me God," or any requirement to swear on a Bible. I, for one, wouldn't mind seeing a parade, but I would like to see a people's float bedecked with peace symbols, flowers, and children cruising down Pennsylvania Avenue with the motto, "It's in our hands, in goodness we trust, free to believe, free not to." In the words of de Tocqueville, America is great because she is good, yet I don't believe it's because our genius and power reside in pulpits aflame with righteousness. Instead, I'd argue from this pulpit that our genius and power resides in the hearts of our citizenry, aflame with freedom, reason, tolerance, and compassion, like the millions who rallied and marched on October 18th. Anything less would be unpatriotic and a god-awful shame. Blessed be, blessed we, bless our country, and let freedom ring. Amen. I'm not waiting for you to applaud, just taking a breath. Whew. Our final hymn is number 121, "We'll Build a Land." The lyrics come partially, interestingly, from the prophet Amos, but have been put towards a song about freedom and goodness. Please rise as you are able.
God
This is the time for our offering. We share half the money collected each week with a local organization doing good works in the community. Snowcap Community Charities is our sharing bounty partner from September through February, and they especially need the money to help especially all those people whose SNAP is gone. Eastrose has a long relationship with Snowcap. We are one of the 25 local churches that founded Snowcap in 1967 to address the needs of East Multnomah County residents. Snowcap helps with food, clothing, personal care items, and needs for infants. We look to deepen our partnership with Snowcap over the next months. If you're attending online, you may donate by visiting our website and clicking on the Donate button, or you may scan the QR code on the screen. If you are here for the first time, we invite you to let the basket pass and truly be our guest. The gifts of the congregation will now most gratefully be received. Please remain seated and sing our song of gratitude. It's 10:10 in the teal hymnal, and the words are on the screen. We give thanks. The words for extinguishing the chalice are from Eric Hepburn. We extinguish this flame to remind us love is the center. As we explore the rest, engage, and heal, love remains the center. When all we can see is cold ashes, love remains. thank all who contributed to today's service. It was an excellent service. This is, your do the unison benediction?
Do we have any announcements?
Oh, that's right. Announcements. Keen has. There is? Oh. Yeah. Oh, no, I have it. It's over here. You go first.
Trying to remember what all my announcements really are. The first one, I'm going to double down on what Suzie was saying about Snowcap. There is a barrel out here where we will collect anything and everything that you might have that you would like to donate to Snowcap. If you have financial possibility of donating, be generous. They have great need, and they can do a whole lot more with your money than you can do with your cans. So they will get more out of it if they have cash. And just know that. There's a list out there of all of the things that can be donated. Be generous. We will eventually get around to doing a yard cleanup. I will figure that one out here in the not too distant future. And what was the other thing I was going to say?
I think that's it.
No, there was a third one. It's going to come back to me in just. Oh, Snowcap, yes. Thank you. It takes a community, takes a village. Just a reminder that not this week, but the following week will be Snowcap Friday, 3 to 5, and it's a chance to help out and get things out so people can have them, and we know they will be busy.
On that note of Snowcap, as we know, there's no federal aid for families receiving SNAP benefits. And so, of course, there's going to be a higher need. Snowcap is providing neighbors in our community food for Thanksgiving, and they will be serving meals for 900 people. They're raising $3,000 to bring meal costs to $3.33 a plate. You can, as Keen said, write a check or put cash in an envelope labeled for Snowcap, and to be sure, include your name. You may place the envelope in the Sunday basket, and I should have said this beforehand, but or bring to the office, and we'll get it. Also, if you have extra coats, hats, scarves, or socks, people need warm clothing, so that can also be put in the basket. Okay. Katie, do you have something?
I do. I just remembered an additional number I had to add to it. Sorry, I'll reach in the option.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, I need to do a little math first. Because I forgot the raffle ticket sales. Okay, so I can't do it with everyone looking at me here.
Don't look, don't look.
It won't do it. It won't do it. Okay, well, we have a gross of $6,836. It's with the math I was trying to do, it's more like 6,900. So that's good. I still haven't removed the expenses. So I think that the expenses will be a little over 1,000. And then of that, what we're giving to the Mount Hood Memorial, Mount Hood Hospice. Mount Hood Memorial is where we had it. Mount Hood Hospice is it's $1,125. Wow.
Yay. Okay.
Now let us join in our benediction together. The words will be on the screen.
Go out into the world in peace. Have courage. Hold on to what is good. Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support
And may you carry your UU values out into the world with love, return in peace and joy. Amen. Let's all have potluck and coffee.